It's been a while since we've heard that opening. Or that opening with nothing added to it. Welcome to the CJ Unedited Podcast. My name is James, and as always, I'm here with Chrissy.
Hello.
To those of you guys who are watching, welcome. If this is your first time watching, welcome. My left eye is twitching, and it's been twitching all day, so that's an issue.
Ooh.
I have a feeling there's people that right now that are watching this while they're sitting at work, probably bored as fuck. Hopefully, the whole 2 viewers we have.
Hey guys, thanks for watching.
Dad's not here tonight.
Yo, that's weird.
Our faithful viewer is gone.
Wait, I'm baffled by it. He's not one of the two?
What?
Good. He's not one of the two?
No. He
Who
told
are
me
you?
he was in bed because he's been up all day because his leg has been hurting him.
Well, when you see this, we wish you well.
I wish you well. It's been a week.
I'm exhausted, man.
It's been a week to say the least. Chrissy, before we get into it, who's watching? Sherry's watching though.
Hey, Queen! Hello.
Oh, my mom's watching. Those are the two.
Ah! Hey, fam.
Those are the two who are watching. Before we get into our week and what's been going on, what are you drinking tonight?
I have. Okay, wait. What is this? It's Gatorade Zero, and it's Glacier Freeze.
Glacier Freeze.
Yeah, it's really good. It's good to like rehydrate because I haven't felt like amazing this week.
Oh.
But it's delicious. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking. You want to take a guess what's in this?
Coke.
Yeah.
That's a freaking huge Coke. That is a huge ass. Oh, not this.
Giant cup. Well, we're gonna be here for an hour and a half tonight, so we might as well.
Yeah.
Chrissy,
we don't have to talk that much because we already talked.
Right? How's your week been?
Not bad. I'm just really tired. School is difficult. I've been teaching writing this week, so it's always a challenge. I did prod last weekend for a live game called Competitive Advance. Shout out to one of our past guest stars, Lucas, who actually was the runner-up of the game.
Well, Hunter also played, didn't he?
Robbed King, fourth boot, robbed. Actually, like really sad. But I hung out with Hunter like all day, so that was cool. Yeah. It was really a fun experience. I had a great time up in North Jersey, and then saw a couple friends throughout the process. And I don't know. I think prod is where it's at for a while.
I mean, hey, it's better than playing.
It kind of was. Like, I was like, I don't have to be upset if I get voted out. I don't have to overly stress about anything. And I get all of the juicy. My job was to film like the voting confessional. So I got like all the tea. And it's all in my phone. It was great.
Mom says she wants to say that she's drinking Pepsi Mango.
Is that good?
It is good. I liked it.
I had it once and it was weird for me. But then I like on a second taste, like I feel like it might be better.
My week's been good. Just been working a lot, doing the usual, school, work, sleep.
Dude, that's like me this week. I've been like, I come home and I sleep.
I started watching The Watcher on Netflix. So good.
Oh, I've heard something like that. I did start a show too. It's called The Midnight Club. I don't know if anyone has heard of that.
What's it on?
It's on Netflix too. It's about this girl who like goes to this institution because she finds out she's like has terminal cancer, and apparently everybody like it's haunted and stuff. It's like it's good. I heard The Watcher's good too, so that'll have to be my next. Is that scary?
Yes, I would prefer to watch it during the day and not at night.
Okay.
So. But the real reason that everyone is here, we're going to showcase our interview that we had with Brett. It's an hour and 20-minute long interview, one of the longest ones we've done. And after that, we're going to come back. We're going to say what's coming up for the week. And then we're going to end the entire episode with a tribute to the late, great Angela Lansbury. Also, before we get into that, because I think we talked about it in the interview, Patti LuPone, who we saw on Broadway, is no longer a Broadway actress. She gave up her equity card, so she is no longer a theater actress for Broadway.
Okay, I saw somebody like tweeting something about her, but I didn't realize that's what it was about.
Yep. So she wanted to be done for a while, so she's taking a step back. Anyway, on that shocking note, shall we play our interview?
Not Patty. Oh my god.
Well, we're gonna play it anyway.
Let's learn about Brett. Brett's a nice kid.
Let's learn about Brett to enjoy this hour and 20-minute interview. Maybe. What's up, guys? We are here with Brett Miller. Brett, we met you in New York in July. Oh man, it's July. That's a long time ago. Wow. We met you in New York by a fluke. We just happened to be walking down Times Square, ran into you, knew that you actually know one of my friends, so that's kind of cool. But how are you? And welcome to our show.
I'm doing well. It's doing all right here. This rainy fall season's getting started. A little chilly outside. Not sweating every time I go outside now, so not doing too bad.
Chrissy, it's been a while since we did our little Broadway Up Close. Well,
I have mine.
This was.
And I still have to thank Brett for being there in that square, because when we met you and got interested in this tour, I got out of going to stand on the edge, and I am deathly afraid of heights. And I was going to do it to be like a good friend. Like, what would you rather do? I was like, the walking tour.
Yeah, you're like, I'll do the thing that's on the ground level.
You came in clutch a lot that night, that whole entire trip, because you also had to use the restroom, and he was like, "Oh, go over there." Like,
and didn't you tell us where to get where to go, or was that where to go to get the tickets early or whatever?
Probably.
Probably, yeah. For company, yeah.
Yep.
King saved us. Also,
he came in clutch a lot because that was a good show. And I'm probably gonna. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that, because if it doesn't happen, I'm not gonna. No, never mind. If things don't work out the way I plan, I'm not gonna have that out there in the world so people make fun of me. So Brett, for those who don't know who you are, which is everybody that's watching, probably besides Brooke. I don't know if she watches. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and where you're from and why you are in New York City.
Yeah, so I'll backtrack through it. So right now I won't bury the lead. I'm currently off Broadway in Friends the Musical parody. And my journey from there will now jump to the beginning. I grew up in West Virginia, just outside of Charleston, West Virginia. I had piano lessons, guitar lessons, and did dance competition, danced in my mom's dance studio before I could even remember. I have zero memories up in here about all that, but many photos to prove it. I got into the dance competition world really from a hip hop perspective, like a boys hip hop class that also did a little bit of tap, and then eventually spread my vocabulary into musical theater and some contemporary and a little bit of technique from ballet stuff, but just enough to like entertain the judges rather than look technically perfect. And then I played sports through middle school and a little bit in high school, and then eventually was like, okay, no more sports. Maybe I'll go forward and dance, and went to look at dance colleges and went to a couple of schools and watched some like performances, and I was like, it's a little too like abstract for me and the things they're learning. And of course you go to theater school and you learn abstract things anyway, but nonetheless it was like the end results were a little abstract and a little more like not what I was looking for, until a friend of mine came, an old dance partner of mine came to one of our recitals at the end of my junior year of high school and said, when we did our recitals, it was kind of like short version of a Disney musical was a chunk of the recital. So we just have the soundtrack and have like little scenes happening while the kids did their dances down below. And so she was like, you can act. I know you know music. I know obviously you're a great dancer. Have you thought about musical theater stuff? And I was like, I don't know, maybe we'll see, I guess. Just, and then a month later, I was at another friend's dance recital in South Carolina, and their studio was introducing Kevin Jones of Kevin Jones Performing Arts Studio. Shameless plug for him. He has always been in the business of prepping students to audition for colleges, coach them in musical theater, like from a very young age, from middle school, from high school, whenever you want to start. And if you want to try and pursue this as a career, he's there to help you have your book and understand monologues and always study songs and things like that. And so they were introducing him. He was going to start doing classes with their whole studio the next year. And I was just like, I want to talk to this guy at the end of this and like, see if I'm crazy or not. And I said, hey, would you be able to like help me out? I think I might be interested in this, but I have no idea if I could do it. And he said, yeah, do you live here? Like, what do we want to do? Because I do some lessons over Zoom, over like FaceTime, or wasn't Zoom at the time. FaceTime was what we were using. And I was like, I don't live here, but I'll be here for the next week. We're vacationing. He said, great, come by my house. That's where I've got my studio built in right now. We'll do a vocal lesson, see how it goes. I go and have my first lesson. He says, okay, you definitely know what you're doing. You definitely know how to read music. You have the capacity. You just sound a little bit like Jerry Seinfeld trying to sing right now, but we can work on that. That's a very easy thing to work on. And so he and I just started doing FaceTime lessons. And anytime we would like vacation over the summer or on a holiday weekend or something like that, I would always be like, hey, I'm going to be in town. Let's do an in-person lesson. And over like the next 6-ish months or so, he prepped me for college auditions. People think I'm crazy when I say this. I only auditioned for 4 schools. Typically, you have maybe about around 20-ish on your list of schools you're auditioning for. I didn't know what I was doing. And so I auditioned for Pace University, Shenandoah Conservatory, Coastal Carolina, which has a great theater program, but was kind of the like, maybe if I don't get into any of these, I'll go here because it's like where my family has always visited, and it's a much cheaper school to like try and get involved in theater through. And it was right in Kevin's backyard, basically at that point. And then Marymount Manhattan College, where I ended up getting accepted to, the one out of the 4 that I got into. So went through that whole marathon of things, got into at least one of them, and it just happened to be the one in New York City. So I've now been here for 5 years as of I think last week of August is when that anniversary was. I just did the math on that recently. So it's been 5 years. I did my 4 years of school. A year and a half of that was over Zoom, but it was tricky, but it was manageable. I had some great professors that helped me get through it, helped adapt to it, and made it still something I got something out of and felt like I was ready to go as soon as we were done. And then graduated 2021, started doing all the self-tape auditions, seeing how it was going, and I got some callbacks for some different stuff that you get callbacks, and even if you don't get it, it kind of keeps you up on top of the waves, keeps you pushing through. And then did some extra work, and then back in February or March, one of the two, randomly submitted for this Friends musical that I was like, this will be funny, like watch, who knows if I even fit as any of these characters. And they called me back for Ross, and it was my first in-person callback that I had gone to since I graduated. And then they cast their Ross. I found out later they cast Cole Urso, who is now our Ross, an hour before I came in. They said, what do we do with Brett? Because we do want him. And then they had me read a Joey side, and I said, oh yeah, that makes a lot more sense. And booked off Broadway on my first in-person callback. So
all right, I gotta hear it. Can you give us Joey's iconic catchphrase, please?
Mm-hmm, of course. How you doing?
We actually had.
I was like, he has to say it.
We actually had a Friends episode to end our season last year. We did a Friends trivia. So now being in the show, I think if we reboot that and we do a sequel to it, You might know some Friends trivia. Did you actually watch
Maybe.
Friends? Did you watch Friends before you auditioned?
Yeah, so my
Okay.
mom watched it while it was on TV. Obviously, it got into I was born in 99, so I was born like halfway through that show or something like that. So it was always something like as soon as there was a TiVo recorder in our house, like there were just long lists of Friends episodes, even reruns just recorded. So I saw a lot of reruns. I saw some of the later stuff, and then eventually went back and watched it all through. God, over 10 years ago now. It had to be like it was early days of Netflix when I actually went through everything. But then when I booked the show, they were like, "You've seen it?" I was like, "Yeah, I've seen a few of them a couple times. I've seen all of it at least once." And in my brain, I'm like, "I remember most of what happened, enough to get by." And then we had a very quick rehearsal process of literally just 12 rehearsals before we went up for previews. And so it was like, I'm just going to watch some YouTube compilations, try and find all of the bits that are in our show. Our original Chandler, Ian, made a master list of all the episodes or just clips from the episodes of the jokes we have in the show. So it was just like storm through those. And then at some point in the past couple of months, I started rewatching it again. So it was really just like the quick survival guide to being Joey before we really dove into the show.
We were on a break.
Yes.
Chrissy, if you have any questions,
Did you ever go to the Friends experience when it was in New York City? Because we actually went there on our trip too.
I did, yeah, and it's still open.
It's still there.
It's still open. I went pre-pandemic. I don't remember when it was. It was sometime before COVID hit. And I like visually remember going up to the photo point where they have like all of Chandler's clothes and you can step into all of Chandler's clothes like Joey does. And I remember looking at my girlfriend at the time and looking at that and I go, I don't remember this bit. What is it? And then now here I am 5 shows a week wearing basically that exact costume. Just a few years down the road. So it was fun. Yeah, it was definitely something that is like, this was a part of my childhood and a part of my life growing up, but I was never like the Friends super fan. And then now it's my livelihood at the moment. So
it's a really good like background, like I'm doing things and I need something that's like going to put me in a good mood thing. I watched it like when I was, because I'm a lot older than y'all. I watched it like when I was young. But it was more like my parents were like watching it.
Yeah.
And then I think I was like 29 or 30. I had like a really bad breakup and I was like not sleeping well. And somebody was like, you should watch like Friends. That's when Netflix was like getting big.
Yeah.
They were like, you should watch Friends like before you go to bed. So I started watching it like every like 2 or 3 episodes like every night before I went to bed. And I just like pushed through it so fast.
Yeah.
It just made me laugh so much. It really was good, like therapeutic. It was good.
Yeah.
So
it definitely is a show like that for a lot of people. Yeah.
I have, hold on, now that because we're talking about it, I gotta bring it up. Here is this is from the Friends experience.
Yeah, the chairs.
We're in Joey's apartment.
Yes.
This is what you're talking about right here.
Yes, that's it.
Could I be wearing any more clothes? And then just the iconic.
Yep.
I literally was like, as soon as we started talking about that, I was like, I gotta go find it. I know I have it.
Yeah, I actually also back in 2016, I was in Long Beach, so just south of Los Angeles, doing a dance convention that I had gotten a scholarship to through another competition classes kind of thing. And I had one day off while I was in that area to just go and do whatever before I was dancing like 10 hours a day or something like that. And I went to the Warner Brothers studio tour and they have the set of Central Perk like set up so you can go and sit on the couch. You can see like the whole set is actually like, it's all forced perspective. So everything that's like behind the couch is actually really close together, like the coffee bar and the tables all the way in the back. Like it's only like maybe around 10-ish to 15-ish feet of space and not like this whole big thing. And so it was really, really cool to like step in and see. And now every time I watch the show in there in that coffee shop, I'm like trying to see like if anybody looks weirdly close in the background or anything like that. But they do such a good job of like not letting you see that like TV magic of it all. So it's really cool.
I think it's cool because there's if you ever watch it, and it's Ellen, I believe it is. Jennifer Aniston is like behind the couch, and people come up and they're like, "Oh, who's your favorite character?" And the girl was like, "Oh, I really want to say Rachel, but I'm going to say Ross." And Jennifer Aniston just pops up from behind the couch, Ross. I just start freaking out. But no, so okay. I just want to say this first of all. I did apply for one school in New York City. I auditioned. I came back home, and by the time I got back home, 2 days after I auditioned, I had got the denial letter. But I applied for AADA, the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. And I got the denial letter while I was in New York City, and I was
my God.
It's like they probably sent it out right after I left. They're like, "No, we don't need them," but.
Oh my gosh.
So before you went to New York, did you ever go to New York like with your family to go see Broadway shows, or?
Yeah, it was a later in life thing. I remember from a very early age, before I ever went there, my mom used to work for Mary Kay, so makeup sales, like all of that. And she at one point took a trip to New York for like a week, took her dad with her. So my dad and I were at home. I was like maybe like 6 years old or something like that. Some of my earliest memories.
Did you go backstage? So I'm doing the interview now.
Okay.
Hello, I didn't want to sneeze on
there we go. Oh, okay, you're sneezing. All right, all right.
On camera.
We were worried.
I thought like you lost it. Remember like when you lost internet and me and Alex were doing the interview? Anyway,
they went on for like 20 minutes without me.
Yeah, he was just gone, and I was like, I guess we're doing this interview. Let's do it.
Okay.
But yes, no. So she went, and I was obsessed with it. She came back with all the photos. She had gone to see Beauty and the Beast on Broadway. She saw The Drowsy Chaperone while it was on at that point. And I was like obsessed, and like she brought me back. Like I was like, of all the things, this kind of has stayed true to my life. It's like, yeah, bring me something back from where you go. The thing that lit my eyes up was not any like New York tourist kind of gift shop shirt or magnet or anything like that. It was a video game that my mom said, I bought this at the GameStop at Rockefeller Center. And that meant the world to me. It was a weird game. It was a PlayStation 2. Like, it was like, oh, I can't remember. I think it might've been just called the Bible game. Like it was like a Christian Jeopardy, like low. It was ridiculous. But like I just remember that's where I got that game, and then I was fascinated with all the photos she had and everything she talked about. I think she might have seen Wicked too while she was there. And then so ever since then I was just like really, really fascinated with New York because she had a lot of photos from that trip. And the only other trip I ever really remember them going on during my childhood was Cancun. But like that was like great. It's a beach. That's cool. That's fun. I'm like, New York is this giant city with all of these things in it. All of, like you go see in these shows. Like it's a crazy, weird, exotic place in my little small child mind. So ever since I was very young, I like even in third grade had like a presentation of like, where's your dream place to vacation? And for me, it was a PowerPoint about going to New York, as opposed to like some people are like, I want to go to Italy or Greece or like all this stuff. And so I was like, yeah, New York City. And so I finally did get to go in 2015 was the first time I came here for as pretty much every connection to my life so far. Dance competition brought me here. It was the first time we had qualified for the World Dance Championship. It was like 10 or so dance competitions that connect and come all here and perform just out in Secaucus, right outside of the city. And we went. Funnily enough, we were going there with a dance that was set to music from the American Idiot musical because I had just seen it on tour, and I took it to my dance competition teacher. I was like, I'm obsessed with this. It's incredible. We need to like have a short concept dance that like has the energy of this show and dance to this music. And so like my like passion, like my obsession show became this dance competition number that my teacher made, and we got to bring to New York. So it was the first thing that brought me to New York. And I come in, we're doing the dance competition. We go into the city for a day. One of our my teammates, her parents frequently came all the time and came to see shows, and so they organized like a group show for us to go see. And so my first Broadway show was Finding Neverland at the Luntfontein with Matthew Morrison, Kelsey. Kelsey, what's his name? Oh my God,
Kelsey
the name
Grammer?
is escaping me. Kelsey Grammer. He was supposed to be in it. He was getting heart surgery
Yes!
at the time.
Oh, okay. I got a story.
Yes. Okay.
Mr. Sue and Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah. So I got to see Matthew Morrison, who I knew from Glee. As young as I was, probably not supposed to be watching Glee at that age, but watched a little bit of Glee, knew who he was. Loved the show. It was a magical show.
I love it. Like
and then the next day we were doing a second round for the dance to like go into like the finals. And we did it. We ended early that day, and all I was focused on was, Mom, let's go back into the city and go see another show. Where we went to TKTS to get tickets for something. It was like the first or second week of Hamilton being on Broadway, and I had no clue what it was. And I looked it up because we saw it on the board, and I said, Founding Fathers in Hip Hop. Let's go see Phantom. I know what that is. And so instead of however, I don't know how cheap the tickets would have been from TKTS for Hamilton, but I passed over Hamilton right when it opened to go and see Phantom.
Before we go further, we are 20 minutes into this, and I forgot to ask one very important question. What are you drinking tonight?
Oh my God.
A good old Coca-Cola.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Booyah, Chrissy. At least
You're
I'm
just
not the
become
only
Dave's
one.
best friend.
I am also drinking Coke.
Hot chocolate.
My dad worked for Coca-Cola when I was for most of my life, and so it was always a Coca-Cola household. The only Pepsi drink that was ever in the house was Mountain Dew. That was the exception. Pepsi was poison water when I was very young, to my mind. So yeah, I've got a Coca-Cola with me today.
I'm the opposite. My mom is a Pepsi drinker. She's allergic to the Coca-Cola, so I had Pepsi in my house. And then when I went to college, I started drinking Coke, and I've never looked back. Of course, when I'm home, I drink Pepsi.
Yeah.
I was gonna say earlier. So I actually saw Kelsey Grammer outside of I can't think of what theater it was in. But I saw him, and it was funny. It wasn't like I just saw him. I ran into him. Like it was, I was like, he was like signing autographs, and I like brushed up against him. I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and he was like, "Oh, it's okay." And I was like, "Holy shit, it's Fraser!" And I like, but no, it's weird. Just I don't know how they do it. We talked about this. Me and Chrissy did after we saw freaking POTUS. Mm-hmm. When Rachel Dratch and all of them just walked out of the theater and walked right into the New York street, and we're like,
yeah,
how did they not get noticed? But I think it's one of those things of, oh, that looks like Rachel Dratch, but it's not her. Why would she be?
She literally just walked there. We all were like, yeah, and then she's like a block away, just like with her mask on. No one knows who she is. She's around, like,
yeah, it's insane.
I will say this though: the longer you're there, you will start this.
Oh, I have two of them. I have two of them and a stack of overflow.
You have two of these?
I have two of those with some extra pages in them. Here, I'll grab them now. I'll grab them now. Hold on.
I have a whole 3 playbills. Probably for the first time.
Am I echoing to you?
Not really.
Okay, good.
I have all my 3 playbills in this room.
I cannot believe he has 3 or 2 full playbills. I don't think he can. Why are you showing them now? Why don't you wait? You're gonna show him again?
That's just for the audience. That's not. He's like whatever.
You only have 3. Have you ever been to 3 shows?
Yes, I told you Aladdin was my holy shit talkie.
Okay. It's not fair though because he lives in New York, ladies and gentlemen. It's not fair. It's not fair. He lives in New York.
So living here.
If I
living here for 5 years,
it would be. It's not fair. He can go see shows. He can get there early in the morning if he has nothing to do.
It was most of college was rushing for tickets.
He can get the rush tickets.
Oh, yeah, you said that on the
this is everything post reopening. So this is everything from, I think the earliest thing I have. Yeah, the first show back we saw was Wicked, which was
Hey, I know that.
October of
I know
last
that top
year.
one.
Yep. And I just saw that earlier in the month.
Because mine says the James L. Niederlander Theater.
Yep. You've got the tour. I've got the Al Hirschfeld. So this is literally just within the past a year, 2 years. Yes.
It's been like a year.
I have not. That's what I'm dying to see. But then it's like,
Christy, why don't you be lame and show off your 3?
Oh my god, you're my
page.
3. Boom. Boom.
Oh, see,
This is
you
the
just have
second
them in
one
there.
too.
I have them in alphabetical order. Like
Yes.
I have
Okay. I do it. Yeah. Mine's
Anastasia.
mine's
This one
chronological.
had,
Mean Girls.
This had
Yep,
Cody
Mean
Simpson in
Girls,
it.
Cher.
Oh my god.
Andrew Garfield's signature is right there.
Oh, I wish I saw that. All of my roommates saw that production, and I couldn't see it when it happened.
This by far one of my favorite shows.
It was so good. It was
Oh,
so
there it
good. I
is!
saw it a few times. Yeah, I saw it, I think 2 or 3 times.
Oh my god, you guys are like twinning with your little books.
But yeah, no, it's like, the longer you're here, the circles you get into.
Did you see Escape from Margaritaville?
I did. Yeah. I wrote a paper
One of
on it,
my-
actually.
That was fun fact. That was my I have this rule. I will never see the same Broadway show on Broadway twice.
Uh-huh.
Now, if it goes
Fair
on
enough.
tour, that doesn't count. There's only been one show that I have seen twice on Broadway, and that is Escape to Margaritaville. Because after the show, I found out that one of my really good friends, her sister, is he gone?
No, I'm here. I'm here.
One of my really good friends, her cousin was the dance captain, and so she could. Next time you come back, let me know, and we will go and I'll take you backstage. And so she took me backstage, and got to go on my first thing. To Kill a Mockingbird, one of my favorites.
Yes.
Did you get to see Lobby Hero?
I did. I did a paper on that one too. I did a paper for acting class in that one. Very last minute tickets for me.
Chrissy. Yeah, I also have that.
Yep.
Yay.
Also, by the way, guys, this is being recorded on October 3rd, so happy.
Oh my god, happy
Girls
Mean
Day.
Girls Day.
That is why I'm wearing
My
pink.
friend texted me that a Mean Girls meme this morning. It did not even hit me that it was the 3rd.
Here you go. This house shows how much of a theater nerd I am.
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh my
It
god.
was a TikTok musical. The one I'm trying to show you. Okay, this is signed by the entire Broadway cast of School of Rock.
Yes. Oh my god. That was. I think that might have been my third or fourth show I saw on Broadway, because I saw it the same day I auditioned for Marymount. I went and saw that show. So.
Can I ask? Have you seen Take Me Out?
I haven't. It's returning, right? It's going to
It
come
is.
back. Yes. I need to see it.
Okay, if you do, this is me asking him on our show. Will you still a playbill for me, because that's the one show I want to see so bad, and I cannot see it.
Yeah, of course.
By like a
I'm
week and a half.
kidding.
But this
Yeah.
is my favorite playbill of all time, mainly because I reached out and I personally mailed. Oh my god, why can't I think of his name off the top of my head?
Look in
Freaking
the
A.
playbill.
Yeah, it is in the playbill, but you know how embarrassing it is.
Jamie. Well, that's the character's name.
Jamie. Matt Doyle. I personally
Mhm.
sent a message to Matt Doyle, and he sent me this back in the mail.
Aw.
So my favorite playbill of all time.
I wanted to highlight this one. This is the first and so far only out of town tryout that I've seen. Was Once Upon a One More Time, the Britney musical. Went and saw it in DC
Do you know what
right
it is?
before the new year.
I've
Her
not
favorite-
seen it, but I know
Her
what it
favorite,
is.
her favorite, like everything is Britney
That's
Spears.
my girl.
Yeah, keep an eye out for this. This has to come to
But wait, would
Broadway.
that come
It
to
has
Broadway?
to.
Okay.
They're planning on doing it. The Nederlanders have a lot of money in it. We know they were one of their main producers. TBD on when they're bringing it, how long it'll take, but they just did this earlier this year. We saw it just before the new year hit. And it
I wanted to
was
see it.
so good. It's so good. Keone and Mari, the director choreographers that are also working on the Karate Kid right now, or just had their out of town. They come from like the commercial dance world. They're a couple. They're incredible dancers, incredible movement people. It was such a good production. I am dying for it to show up on Broadway, but it's also like, how much Britney are we going to get on Broadway? Because we've got Toxic and Moulin Rouge.
Yeah.
We're about to have and Juliet has, I don't remember what song in it, but has a Britney song in it.
There, Six has a little bit of Britney in one of the
Mhm.
Queen
So wait,
Yeah.
where is it being performed now?
So it was in DC earlier
Is
this
it coming
year.
to Philly? Like,
So if that's their out of town, they're probably just in the like deep legwork of trying to figure out if anybody wants to pay for them to be on Broadway and when that'll happen and what theater it'll be.
God,
It's
please.
all the complicated mess of it all.
One of my dreams is to have. Okay, so I got to see Waitress on Jesse Mueller's last night, which is a fluke because I really wanted to see Hamilton. Did not want to pay that ridiculous price, so I got tickets to Waitress. Didn't realize it was Jesse Mueller's last night. That was dope. I want to get a playbill that has opening night on it. I want to have just at least one.
The one little sticker,
a little sticker. And I want to get a playbill from the very last night of a show.
Yeah.
So if everything goes well and someone pays for my ticket to go to New York to see Phantom on the night of its closing.
When we put that GoFundMe up for Phantom of the Opera.
When we put that GoFundMe. Have you seen any shows on opening night or closing nights?
I haven't. The closest I've gotten, I saw Moulin Rouge on its last, so like the night before opening. So its last preview, last whatever, which was insanity. Such good energy because it's, you know, it's new and it's almost opening night and everybody's there because they want to see it. So that was incredible. And I think the closest, I don't know what the closest I've been to something closing that I've seen it.
I missed Frozen's opening by one day.
I missed Frozen entirely. I was lucky enough to be in show after show after show and was just busy / exhausted and didn't take the time to go see it.
This is going to mean nothing to you right here, but Brett, that was the most that is so much spectacle in it, with the fact of when she touched the wall of the St. James, the entire theater turned to ice.
Oh,
so like it just was it like, and when she did that, everything, they turned on the air conditioning, they did everything to make it feel like it was frozen over.
Whoa.
Oh my God, I had no idea.
It was and seeing her quick change was the best show.
Fun.
But Chrissy saw Aladdin, and I want to see Aladdin.
It was good. It was
Aladdin's sitting on a high throne right now. Hopefully there won't be anything to knock it out.
Genie was
soon.
so iconic. That set the bar really high for the first show I saw. I was like,
yeah.
And I saw it with my mom and dad. It was really fun.
So how many shows have you seen off Broadway? A lot? Okay.
Less than Broadway.
Really?
Let me think. I saw The Wrong Man at MCC, which was a Travis Wall choreographed show with Joshua Henry in the leading part. I've seen The Play That Goes Wrong since it's been off Broadway. I saw Jersey Boys right before it closed, just a couple months before it closed. Rock of Ages when it was here right before the pandemic. All the last three were all New World stages. What else has been technically off Broadway?
I was sad. I had tickets to see Jagged Little Pill, and I was supposed to fly out the day that the world shut down.
Oh my gosh. Those are the top four I can think of, I believe. Well, and I've seen The Office. They share space with us, so they're off Broadway. Yeah. Those are the top. I think I know there's probably more somewhere in there, but they're escaping me right now.
So Chrissy, we'll go into something that you can actually talk about.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
This is like very much going back to the beginning of the interview, but as someone who's like a decent singer that like sucks at reading music, you said you knew how to read music. Like, did you teach yourself from jump, or did you like do like choir and like voice training when you were young?
No, so I never did any voice training, like nothing super specific on voice training. I started probably when I was 5 years old with piano. I started private lessons with piano with a woman that lived locally, had a piano teacher, never stopped doing that for the longest time, switched teachers in middle school, and with that teacher started learning guitar. And so I was always learning and using my sheet music through my piano. I'm not a great practicer. I don't practice enough because I am thankfully blessed and skilled enough to be able to pull things out of nowhere sometimes. But I do enough of the work, not to say like I don't work and I get everything I want, but like I do enough of the work that I still do well. So I come from a place of originally learning on piano, reading sheet music that way, and then not really focusing on that for a while, just because busyness and dance and all these different things took a lot more time out of life. And then when I came back to college, we had for our first year a music theory class that like really made me go like, oh, okay, these are the things I actually remember and like do work in my brain, and like I know how to do this stuff. And I was like I think I was in the highest level of that class with my placement test. And then like expanded from there. So like I'm not like, I can't immediately look at a page and be like, this is what I should be singing and this is what it is. I still need like a reference note, because my my ear that I can hear the music from is like my strength. I can just fly off the cuff just from hearing something, but seeing something on the page, it's not like I immediately know what I should be doing. I can use it as a reference once I know where we're going through the music. So yeah, a lot of years of just being surrounded by sheet
probably
music.
The fact that you did the instrument first was good. Like I did choir in high school, and then I did that from like all 6th grade to like 12th. But then when I was in like 11th grade, I joined the marching band because I wanted to go to Disney World.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, shout out Haverford High School. I did end up loving it, and I joined the competition band, which was a lot more commitment. But then I was like having trouble with like, and I was just playing like mallets and stuff, and I was like, why the hell is this hard? Like, why the hell is this hard? Because I was like singing before I played an instrument. So.
I played violin in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. I did not practice. Sorry, Mom and Dad. You're fighting about that.
So hard.
But look, we're twinning over here. No. When I had to do like actual orchestra concerts, I was just like pretending to.
They're like, why are you here that baritone violin? Where's the?
Oh my god!
But so did you before you decided to go to theater? Did you have anything else that you wanted to do, like with your when you graduated? Did you have plans, like to be a teacher or to be a?
No, I had no idea. I know from when I was young, I used to always tell people I would be a rock star. Like I wanted to play music, I wanted to play venues, I wanted to do all that. That's still not out of the pages anymore. I think I love writing music if I can sit myself down and do it. And I love going to concerts. I've gone to concerts my entire life. So that kind of mentality, my first concert was Bon Jovi with Nickelback in Pittsburgh. And so it was just like go to concerts every year, a couple every year sometimes. So like being a rock star was like the coolest idea when I was a very little kid. And then for a while, I wasn't like doing things with intent of like, this is what I'm going to do one day. I just did it. Like I did it because I loved it. And I think for a while, my parents thought it might be basketball, like go to college and play sports. I don't think I was ever really on the page of that. I would step out on the basketball court and be great at defense, but that's because I was panicking and just knowing not what to do, but not really following the playbook by any means. And I was tall, so that helped because I've been 6 foot at least since like 6th grade, so I had that little bit of an advantage. And it was just kind of doing and going along with things. And then eventually when I decided that I quit baseball in middle school, decided I wasn't going to play basketball anymore in high school. That was that moment that I was like, oh, maybe it'll be dance. And then, oh no, maybe it'll be musical theater. Who knows? So it's always kind of been like, let's figure out what works right now and we'll see how it goes. And thankfully it's gone well at most points.
When you're not doing theater, besides what we're going to talk about, when you're not doing theater, what do you do besides, go? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Kind of riding off the coattails of that last question as well. I think for me, I've always wanted to be a storyteller, whether I knew it or not. Cause like I was the kid, like I'm a Star Wars nerd. There's a giant Star Wars tapestry behind my head right here. And I've been that way since I was young. So literally my parents were like, we remember like you humming the like John Williams score note for note while you were playing with your action figures, like making the scenes happen. So with that, I still do that today. Like I don't think I would go into the profession of writing, but I like to creatively write and tell a story that way. So I play a lot of D&D with my roommates. That's literally what I'm doing after this interview. We have
Oh my God, my
D&D
husband's
tonight.
literally playing D&D right now.
Yeah, yeah. We literally we just do a lot of our own homebrew and home written stuff based on regular systems. So like I run a Star Wars campaign. We're about to play my friend's campaign that's like loosely based on like the Tinkerbell Fairy Hollow stuff with like a little more D&D mechanic into it. And we have a superheroes campaign that my other roommate is running. And so that like exercises that writing and like improv and storytelling muscle that I love to do. And it's great with the people that I love and are in a safe space with. I just like, I find myself ready to do the work always, but also equally wanting to consume as much as possible because I love to see people do the same stuff that I do and tell the stories they want to tell. So I watch a lot of TV shows. I watch the best stuff. I watch lots of movies. I love for my entire life I'm an only child. So a lot of my childhood, if I wasn't out doing those activities and things, I was at home, like playing a video game, like on my own, going through this story that somebody has lovingly created and told. And so it's a lot of video games. It's a lot of books that I read all the time. It's comic books. I go to the comic store weekly. I do a lot of consuming of so many different mediums because to me, fueling that creative fire helps me put it back out, even if it's a weekly Batman comic that has absolutely nothing to do with the musical that I need to audition for. There's just something about it that I see people doing this passion, and like I am gratefully getting to do mine as well. So, and I know it's exactly
from the theater world into something that's not completely related.
Yeah,
we all have those. So
absolutely,
you're not a nerd.
Yeah, no, I mean, come on. There's this tapestry and a red hood helmet back here that I made with my dad.
He definitely did not binge watch The Mandalorian the first
Oh no! I didn't binge watch it. I was up at every morning 3 a.m. watching the new episode weekly.
Catch me out. Nope.
Chrissy, that's you with Abbott Elementary, okay? Like that's you with Survivor.
Yes, Abbott Elementary. And so I just started watching Survivor last season. I've not watched all the old seasons, but I'm caught up now. I haven't seen the newest episode, but
all this behind me.
Yes,
Survivor.
Yes.
So, you just watched 42. Are you watching 43 then?
Yeah, we just watched. Me and my roommate Lee just started. We saw the first episode a couple days ago.
Yeah,
and we're ready to watch the newest one. So,
do you winner pick?
I don't yet. I could not get anybody's vibes from that first episode whatsoever. I was like, I don't know how I should be feeling right now.
You don't want Caleb living to be the winner?
I will say I can at least say I do disagree with the first person voted out. I think it should have been Owen. I think it should have been Owen, but here we are.
There's rumors that there is going to be a medevac this season, but
I think it's coming. But
I don't want to say that it's going to happen if it does happen, and we're like airing this later on. But like I've heard it's Gabler, so like
okay.
That's what I'm
saying. You can tell from the preview. Oh, this isn't okay. We're not releasing this.
They're going to be like, this already happened, you guys. What are you talking about?
So we said earlier in the very beginning, we were in New York. We were walking through the middle of Times Square, and we came across this booth called Broadway Up Close, and we ran into this nice gentleman right here.
Hey.
We actually took this photo because we had to send it to someone. But what got you into doing Broadway Up Close? Like, did you apply or did you get reached out to, or?
Yeah, so on one of those few first trips into the city, one of a couple of the summers and I worked with and went through, but I worked with a company called the Broadway Collective, run by Robert Hartwell, who has been on Broadway, made his Broadway debut in Cinderella, was in Hello Dolly, was the last thing that he did, was in a couple of, was in Memphis. So they had a program in the summer where you would go for a week and do master classes every single day with the best of Broadway. Gavin Creel, casting directors, Michael Arden did a sides reading class, like all these different things. And we would get to, if we weren't working with the person in that class, there was like 20 of us, I think, in the first year of it. In 2017 is when this was. And we would be doing these master classes with all these great people. Warren Carlisle did a choreography class. We did some Jerry Mitchell choreography. He couldn't attend, but we still did some Catch Me If You Can. And then we would go see the shows that these people were working on and have dinner with the people in the shows right before we went and saw the show. So it was like this ultimate, like, talk to the people that are a part of the thing you're about to be a part of and what you're aspiring for, learn from them, get like the actual real perspective from them. That first year, while we were doing all of these classes, they made a schedule for our parents as well, for things for them to go and do in the city while we're off doing our classes. Because, you know, a lot of the times things like that happen and parents have nothing to do or they don't know what they want to do. And one of the things on that schedule was a Broadway Up Close walking tour. And so that's my mom and I think it might have just been my mom, went on the Broadway's Beginnings tour, came back and was like, the next time we're here, we are doing this. I will go again. I'm taking whoever else is there. We went on the tour. We were with Tim, our owner. It was a really great experience. And that was that. And then 2019 comes along. It's like April. And Tim announces on Facebook, he says, I'm getting ready to have a home in Times Square. We're going to have a kiosk that has information about our tours and like a little bit of merchandise and things like that. And I saw this and I still had his email. I had to dig it up. And I said, hey, I saw that you just announced you're going to have a booth in Times Square. I'm assuming you probably need people to work that booth. And he said, yeah, sure. We'll get on a phone call. You're probably going to be the first person I hire. And so he called me on the phone. I'm like prepping for like a job interview and he gets me on the phone and he's like, this isn't an interview. I'm just like giving you the details of like what it would be like so that you can confirm if you would want the job. And so I was like, yeah, great. And so I started working for him, just started working out of the kiosk, telling people about the tours, which I was already passionate about because they were really freaking cool. Just like doing that every day throughout that summer. And that was the first summer I spent in New York. I went back to Philly where my parents were at the time the summer before. And so it's like, now we have our apartment, we're staying in the city. I've got this job. I worked in the kiosk for the next, that was 2019. So for almost the next year, because the shutdown came shorter than a year sooner. And then eventually post-pandemic, we opened it back up in August of 2021. I got to come back because it was the job that I had and I needed the job. And then I had always had the intention. I always told Tim, I was like, one day I'll do the tours. I would love to do the tours one day if you have an opening. And he was always like, book something first because you will get tourists that ask you what you're in. And if you say, well, I'm in school or I just graduated, they'll like, you know how some theater tourists can be a little pretentious with the journey you're on. And so the moment I booked Friends, I was like, okay, we're in the realm of possibility now. And I didn't say anything. I didn't mention anything. And then May came around and he was like, how's Friends going? Is it busy? Are you doing okay? Like, what do you think? I was like, yeah, why? What's up? He was like, well, you want to be a tour guide, right? And I was like, yeah, please. He was like, great. I'm going to throw you on some tours in the end of June. So you guys caught me very early in my giving that tour career.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'd been doing it for maybe a month, maybe less than a month when you guys took the tour with me.
Well, I don't think
we could not tell.
I could not tell. It was Broadway Beginnings. It was honestly
all the ghost stories.
As a theater
So
person,
interesting.
Broadway Beginnings was amazing. I want to do this one next. There's
Schubert
so
Brothers
many
and
I want
Beyond.
to. There's so many I want to do.
Yeah, I'm learning Schubert Brothers now. I've got the notes for it. I'm practicing it. I'm tweaking it for myself because there's so much in Schubert Brothers and Beyond that he's like, I kind of let you guys pick and choose the best stories because we want to keep that at an hour 45 and there's so much information in all of those theaters. So pick your favorite stories from those theaters and make sure you hit these highlights. So I'm going through that process now. I'll be starting that one at the end of this month.
There's us.
Yes, on our Selfie Sunday reel.
Oh,
It's a horrible quality because I screenshotted a screenshot. So yeah, that was honestly, I was actually on I was waiting for you to update, like put the selfie Sunday up. And
Yeah.
as soon as I saw a screenshot of that. As you can
Yep.
tell, I barely caught it, but
That
Yeah.
was like right at the beginning, or was that the beginning or the end? That was at the end.
That was the last thing we did.
The,
Yeah,
like,
right
when we
outside
were
of
back in
Velasco.
Times Square, right? Okay.
I
Yeah.
gotta say, I was in a lot of pain during that show.
Oh
Mainly
my
on
god.
massive
Because of your sunburn. Yeah.
massive sunburn. But you know what? It was worth it.
Good.
Like,
Good. I'm glad.
that tour was worth it. I learned as a theater person, as a theater geek, and a theater nerd, and whatever you want to call it. I thought it was just like I learned a lot.
Yeah. And for the sake of the podcast, for the sake of anybody like being like, what are they talking about? Broadway Up Close is all actors, stage managers, theater people like myself. And like we have our like we say stage manager because for the most time it was usually actors and stage managers. We now have some writers and directors in there. One of our tour guides, Teresa, is actually the stage manager for the upcoming revival of Camelot that's going to happen next spring. She's been working with the company for many of its 12 years. And it's all Broadway history walking tours, and also all the merch that we make as well. And so it's like they're saying they had a great, as theater people, it's one of the most fun things that there is in the city to do and to learn about these buildings that you're going into. And we can give you a new perspective on these spaces that you're either going into for the first time or you've never been in. And it like really changes like your whole view whenever you see a show, like the things you're looking at, the places you're sitting in, all of that kind of stuff.
And it's interesting to know that some of the buildings that are there now used to be theaters, and theaters are now buildings, and like buildings are now theaters.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's very cool. But if you guys are ever in New York, go to Broadway Up Close, go to their little kiosk.
Yeah.
It's worth it. It's if you are a theater person, or not as much as the case as Chrissy was. Like, I was surprised that when we walked away, she was like, I enjoyed that. And I was like, oh, I was really nervous that you weren't. Like,
no, I would have much rather done that than go out on the hike.
She was like, the alternative made it better.
We got to go into like buildings because it was like 95 degrees. I'm trying to find this picture of my dog with the merch on, and I can't find it. I'm not sure. But my dog got a bandana that said Broadway at the little booth, and she loves it.
Yes.
So I put that at the very end for us to do a little game with you.
All right.
I have lined up, Chrissy, good thing you're not playing because I don't think you would have gotten any of
I
that.
would get destroyed.
We are going to do, I have 16 questions.
Okay.
I'm going to try to see how many of them you can get correct. Chrissy,
are we like fill in the blank? Are we multiple choice? What's going on?
No.
Okay, great.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
And then a lot of them are easy. You will obviously know the answer. Some of them you might not. And
Okay.
for everyone who's watching, you're going to learn a history lesson today. Chrissy, if you want to keep track just by doing a little tally, because I'm not going to do both like I usually do. Here we go. These three shows, Chicago, Waitress, and Wicked, are all connected by losing what honor at the Tonys? These three shows, Chicago, Waitress, and Wicked, are all connected by losing what honor at the Tonys?
I would imagine it's Best Musical, right?
That is correct.
There you go. Okay, yeah. Did you write down what beat each of those? I can't remember them myself,
I
but
cannot remember. I
think Waitress might have been the same year as Hamilton.
Yes, I believe so. And the only reason why I got that question is from the Sarah Bareilles and Josh Groban open, where he said Chicago and Waitress are still selling tickets, but now they went home with Best Musical.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Which Broadway musical is based on Puccini's opera Madame Butterfly?
Oh, it's not. No, because that's a true story. Madame Butterfly. I studied this. I know what it is.
That's the worst.
It's just escaping me. That's the worst part of it.
That's the name of a show?
Is it Hedwig?
No, I will give you a hint. We're still going to mark it wrong, but I'll give you a hint.
Yeah.
A real helicopter lands on stage.
It is Miss Saigon.
It is Miss Saigon.
Okay. I had the thought in my head because I knew Madame Butterfly was, I don't know if it was written by an Asian writer or not,
Yeah,
but
it's been it's Puccini. And
Yeah.
yes, Christy, a real helicopter lands on
Isn't
stage.
that based on a novel though?
the
Madame Butterfly?
Saigon.
Madame Butterfly?
I know
Mhm.
it's an opera. I don't know if it's right based on a book.
Okay, I swore there's a
She's an
book in my
English
classroom
teacher, so
library.
that's why.
Well, no, I swear there's a book in my like classroom
Yeah.
library called Madame Butterfly, and it's about like communism. Anyway, you can keep going.
Maybe.
Sorry.
And when did the first? Okay, if you don't get this, I'm very upset. Because this kind of directly comes from this book.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
When did
going
the
to it.
first theater open on Broadway?
1900.
1735.
1735. See, that's the thing. You get extra things from that book that are cut from our tour. So in my mind, who knows?
Wait,
What
was that the
ver-
one? Remember you were telling us about like it looked like a bar. Was that your tour?
Not that I remember. No.
It's his board. It's his, he had this tour had the people would run across the street to get.
That's what it was. Sorry, that was
To
the
Keen's.
theater.
Yeah, you're thinking of Keen's.
They
Yes.
would go drink and come back. Okay, never
Yeah.
mind.
That's okay.
What birthday does Bobby celebrate in the gender bent production of Company?
I know.
Oh God, I saw it too. I saw it right before Christmas. I've got two numbers bouncing in my head. I just need to pick one. I'm gonna say 30.
She's
What was your
35,
other
right?
option?
Ah,
It's 35.
that was the other one. I was like, which one is
I
it?
wrote
Which
that
one
as
is
a
it?
trick question because I said what birthday does Bobby celebrate in the gender bent production? Which it's still the same
Is it still
year.
35?
It's still the same age.
Okay.
It's just I threw it off because I wanted to see if you would catch it.
Yeah,
The
if there was a
Tony
difference.
Awards- The Tony Awards are named after which woman?
Antoinette starts with a B. Can't remember it though.
I'll give you the point. I'll give you it.
Okay.
It's Antoinette Perry, but
Perry.
I'll give you the
Yep,
point.
there it is. Great.
I don't know if you'll
I
get
know
this.
it's a woman. That's the important part.
That is good. I don't know if you'll get this one. What was the first Broadway musical?
Oh.
I did not know this.
Okay, so I don't know if this was on Broadway. I know from musical theater history class, the first like considered book musical, which probably wasn't the first Broadway musical, but I'll throw it out there anyway because I don't have any other guess, would have been The Black Crook.
That is correct.
Yeah, that's that Marymount education.
That is correct. What musical? You said The Black, and I was like, oh, if he says Crook, you got it.
Yeah.
Holds the record as the most nominated production in Tony history.
Most nominated.
What musical holds the record as the most nominated production in Tony history?
Hamilton, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, 16. Yeah.
That would have been my guess.
Well,
Yeah.
3 of them were in the best actor category.
Literally.
What? I already read that. What is the oldest continually operating theater on Broadway? What is the oldest continuing operating theater?
The Hudson.
Oh, is that right?
What did you have? The New Amsterdam?
I had the Lyceum.
I was thinking
Lyceum.
New Amsterdam.
So the Hudson, as far as we know, they might not be considering closing and reopening, because the Hudson is a case where it opened in 1903, just a few weeks before the New Amsterdam, and it closed. It was different things, but it never changed. It was still that building.
So it
And
says
then
here, it says this is what I got from the Schubert organization. Is the Broadway's oldest continually operating legitimate theater.
Interesting. Oh, continually. Okay, so meaning it was always a Broadway theater. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah, because it was also 1903. It was just the only one that was always a Broadway theater.
I was
The
like,
other
wait a
ones.
minute, I thought I got this from the
Yeah,
Schubert.
no, you did. You got me. It was a small technicality. You got me.
Wait, how do you
Okay.
say it? The Lyceum? The Lyceum?
The Lyceum. Yeah, it's where
That's
Strange
the
Loop is
answer.
currently playing.
Okay. They have
This is a
all-purpose
two-parter.
seats. I googled the answer.
This is a 2-parter. If you get
Okay.
if you get half correct, you get half a point. If you get the whole
Okay.
thing, yeah.
Great.
What is an EGOT, and who is the most recent recipient of an EGOT?
Okay, so part one I got, and EGOT means you have won the 4 most coveted awards in entertainment of an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony.
Correct.
The most recent recipient was just this past year, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh Lord.
If I give you a hint, do you think you could get it from my hint?
Maybe.
This person got it because A Strange Loop won Best Musical. And they wrote this.
Was it Michael R. Jackson?
It's Jennifer Hudson.
Oh, I had no idea she had anything to do with that.
She wrote some
show.
of the music for Strange Loop.
Yeah, no, because when you said that, I was like, in my head, I was like, I know it had to be a woman. I know it had to be a woman, but I couldn't remember who it was.
What company provides up close looks at all of Broadway theaters?
Broadway Up Close.
Good job. That was a giveaway. That was a give. Question number 12. How many Broadway theaters are there currently?
41.
Correct. How many of them are currently operating? Like not like it doesn't matter if they have a show. It's just they're not closed for renovation.
They're not closed.
I'm just curious. This is not a question. I'm just curious to see because I think
36?
I want to say.
Is it 36?
I know 2 of them are closed for renovation. Which would be I think all 41 are open minus the Palace.
Palace. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Palace Theater. So 40 of them are operating.
Okay. Yeah.
I said just because they don't have a show in them doesn't mean the show's not like
right.
Which theater has housed the most Tony-winning best plays and best musicals?
Richard Rodgers.
That is correct.
Yeah, it used to be the 45th Street Theater or 46th Street Theater. It's on Golden Row right over there with all the lucky ones.
At the 2009 Tony Awards, which production made history when 3 actors won the coveted Best Actor award in a musical?
2009. Oh, God. That was before Broadway was on my radar. Lord, what could it have been? Three best actors in one show is what you're asking. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna say.
Oh, am I allowed to ask? Is it still running?
No,
it's not. Or I'm not allowed to ask. It's not. Okay.
It might be running off Broadway. Running off Broadway. Hold on. I'm looking it up. Why does it say it's still running on the? Oh no, it's not running.
Okay. Oh wow. You stumped me with this one. I don't have a clue.
I am going to let oh my God, I can't think of her name. She was in oh my God.
Oh wait, was it The Color Purple?
No.
Okay.
Oh my God, she's a black actress. She was just in
Cynthia Erivo?
No.
Oh, was it Dreamgirls?
No.
Okay.
Well, I'm trying to think of the actress who presented this award. Hold on. I will know the presenter in just a second. I will say that this production was the most nominated with 15 at the Tony Awards and won with 10. But they did not count this one. Audra McDonald. I will let Audra McDonald announce who the group was. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna see if I can pull this up and share the thing with correctly. Alvarez, Trent Kowalik, and Kirill Kulish. 3 people won.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
Yeah. It has been shared by 3 people. Congratulations.
child labor laws. You got to have all three of them be Billy Elliot in the show. So
Yep.
that's
Child
amazing.
labor laws.
Yeah, literally.
It's true. They all won, and they didn't. They were all like, when they got up on stage, were like, like they I think they knew they were gonna win
Uh-huh.
because what you don't see in that video is they're all like standing up, getting ready to go up, but like I don't know. Okay, next one. Only one cast replacement has ever been nominated for a Tony Award in a competitive category. Larry Kurt was nominated for Best Actor in a Musical for his performance in which production that Dean Jones originated the role and can be still heard on the cast album of what production?
He's just said a whole bunch of names I don't even know.
Okay.
So I'm going to throw a guess out there. And
Let me repeat it without the names.
okay.
Only one cast replacement has ever been nominated for a Tony Award in a competitive category, Best Actor in a Musical, for their performance in a production that the original leading role left right after opening day.
Yeah, still nothing. So I'm trying to think of shows that I'm like, I know this is popular. Don't know any of the names from it. Les Mis?
No, Company.
Okay. Oh.
The original actor that played Bobby left like 2 or 3 days after opening night, and Larry Kurt went on in his place. He was the understudy. He went on in the actual role, and he was nominated for Tony Award in a Best Actor in a Musical.
Okay, good for him.
That's what happens. Okay.
Yeah.
Final question. What Broadway theater has hosted the Tony Awards the most? What Broadway theater has hosted the Tony Awards the most?
Have they not always been at Radio City then?
If you need a hint, look at your Schubert Brothers and Beyond notes. It should be in there. If it's not, that's a letdown.
I might not have gotten to that section yet because I've been jumping around the tour. So if it's Schubert Brothers, what's the biggest one? Or at least the one they might do. It might, I mean, I'll go for it. Was it the Richard Rodgers?
No, it's the Schubert Theater.
It is the Schubert. Okay.
8
All
Tony
right.
Awards have been hosted there. Radio City Music Hall has hosted.
Yes, because that's where they have a plaque right outside the Schubert with the Tony Award. Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Chrissy, out of 16, please let this man know how well his theater knowledge is.
He got 9.
Hey,
That's more than half.
I counted one of the follow-ups as a point. So like,
Okay.
good job.
Great.
They seemed hard, those follow-up questions. So good job.
Thank
I would
you.
have gotten the one about Bobby's age.
We're gonna move straight out of rapid fire or straight out of Broadway theater right into our fiery question segment.
Questions.
So here we go. This is rapid fire. If you need a second to think, you're more than welcome to, especially the last one.
These are
Favorite
fun.
musical.
American Idiot.
Okay. Production you want to star in the most.
American Idiot.
How many Broadway out of 41 Broadway theaters? How many have you seen a show in?
Oh. Hold on. I can actually bring up the actual evidence for that right here in my Broadway passport. Sold at Broadway Up Close.
He has a Broadway passport? How did
I
not
do.
know
It's
this
right
was a
here.
thing?
James
It's right there at the kiosk. Okay.
I did not see this. I would have
James is
gone
gonna
and
see his
stamped it myself.
2, 3, 4.
How do you stamp the Broadway passport? Do you just write it yourself what show you saw?
9.
Okay.
Yes. 10,
I'm gonna be talking to Brett after this show to mail him.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. I think 29. Yep, 29.
Are you editing the passport when they change theater names?
Yes.
Okay.
We're gonna have a new version now that the James Earl Jones is out. We will have a new version at some point soon. I don't know the timeline for it.
Okay.
Maybe he'll wait for the Lena Horne as well to do those too.
What? Okay, yeah. Favorite show currently on Broadway?
Oh, Beetlejuice. I'll say Beetlejuice.
Okay. What is your favorite Broadway theater and why?
On my profile on our website for Broadway Up Close, I think I said the Lyric, but the more I think about it, I think I really, really like the Sondheim.
Really?
I love the history there. I love that I love old buildings, but I love how modern it is as well, and has touches of the old building and has gigantic bathrooms.
You talked a lot about that one when we went on tours.
Yeah.
I if I am going to be completely honest, I think mine.
Down low?
What is it?
It was like, is that the one that was like, I don't want to say underground.
It is. Yeah, it's underground. Yeah, it's subterranean.
It's like, okay, that's right.
First Broadway show you ever saw?
Finding Neverland.
Okay, it was one of the questions, and
yeah,
I had to ask it. This is the final one, and I put this on here mainly for Chrissy.
For me, go ahead.
But it's Brett's answering. Broadway Ghost. Which one do you want to see the most?
Ooh. Oh, that's a tough one.
Oh, I also meant to say while he's thinking, my favorite Broadway theater is the Gershwin. And I think it's because no matter where you sit at the Gershwin, you have a fantastic view.
Yeah. I will say.
Oh my God, I missed a question in the trivia.
That's okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So I'll do this first. So I have two answers to this because one is a ghost that nobody's ever seen. It was a one-time thing at, I believe it was the Booth Theater, just on the other side of the Schubert. There was a playwright who had 5 plays on Broadway at one time. He died over in Paris or in France from some like appendix burst, I think, or something like that. And his next show was about to open. He died. And then the next night, or like some weeks later, his show opened. The whole cast bowed on the front of the stage, took a step back, and then the whole audience fainted and had like, everybody saw this because they watched the playwright step forward, bow, and then vanish off the stage. So I would kill to see that happen, something like that, see him at some point again. But my secondary answer, just to go for one that is seen often, I would love to see Olive because she's not a scary ghost. She's a very pretty, very kind ghost. So
Olive is the
New Amsterdam.
Yep.
The New Amsterdam.
Yeah,
yes.
late, she was like wearing blue or like.
Yeah. The blue was the Belasco. Olive was green. She was a Folly. Yes, she was part of the Ziegfeld Follies.
This has been Fiery Questions with Brett. And now we're going to go back to this Broadway theater question because I forgot to ask it. And I will declare you having all 16 if you get this right.
Okay.
Which Broadway theater has not shown its original proscenium arch since 1987? Think about this. It's so simple. Which Broadway theater has not shown? Correct.
Yeah, because they've got a whole arch built for that, proscenium built for that show.
So as soon as Phantom comes down, the original proscenium arch will be shown for the first time since 1987.
That's going to be cool.
Wow.
I've already said, congratulations, you got all 16. I have already said that show. What is your, this is the last thing we'll do before we move into your credits, and we'll let you go play D&D, and we'll let you have your fun for night. What is your thoughts about Broadway's longest running show closing? And are you going to go see it before it closes?
I might go see it before it closes. I'm undetermined. Depends on if there's a ticket offer or some other, here's my thing about this show. I'm glad I saw it. Mm-hmm. I'm glad it was such a cultural phenomenon that it was open for so long. I'm glad it employed as many people as it did. I'm glad there's a cast member who he's just worked in that show since it opened and has just renewed his contract every single year.
Wow.
And so, yeah, it's kept him booked. It's kept so many other people booked. It's given so many other people their Broadway debuts, their like chance to make it big, because there's not producers trying to like make a show with a big budget cast, because that'll bring people in. It's been great that something has ran that long, created such a legacy for itself, and been a great spectacle for Broadway and brought a great name for Broadway. I think the music is great. I think Andrew Lloyd Webber is good at writing music.
There's a but coming.
I think the story is creepy. I think
fair.
its story is creepy. So why is that what stuck? But it did, and we're here. It's closing. It's very sad for the theater community. It's a very sad, tragic thing to see happen.
Can we just say that we're glad that before it happened, and it's going to end with a Black Christine.
Thank God.
It's going to end.
Yeah. Who is an unbelievable performer.
I think this is what I think is going to happen on closing night. Andrew Lloyd Webber is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Crawford's probably going to be there.
Okay.
Sarah Brightman's probably going to be there.
Uh-huh.
Some of the original cast is probably going to be there.
Yep.
Sarah Brightman's probably going to sing. Because Sarah Brightman was the original Christine Daae. She is Andrew Lloyd Webber's Christine. I would love and hope to be there on that final night. And someone said, and I'll end it with this before we go into the credits. Someone said, I really wish they would just drop the chandelier for real onto the
One of us at the kiosk said that too. Could you imagine just a haunted moment of that chandelier actually dropping? I also tweeted out, because I don't know if somebody said this to me or if I said it. I think I said it, but I tweeted it. And I said, Phantom should just donate their chandelier to Moulin Rouge and they can use it during the chandelier number.
I saw that someone said that, and I said, I'd pay to get the chandelier dropped on me. To be a part of that, just a historic moment of the chandelier literally just falling. No, it's going to be cool. It's going to be kind of interesting to see what they put into the Majestic. And I wonder if they're going to leave the Phantom mask on the side of the building, but it'll be interesting.
They'll leave it somewhere for sure.
They will have to. Anyway, Brett, thank you for coming on for this hour and 15 that we've kept you, and I didn't mean to.
Yeah, it's all right.
Which is kind of cool because we are hopefully we will have you back on sometime in season 4 for help us launch what will be a new podcast coming out of this show that you kind of had some sort of hand in. So to be here for that would be kind of cool. But we're going to run through socials, let you get out of here. I'm just going to put them up. You're going to just explain what you do with them because I don't know what you do with them. Yeah. So here's your Instagram.
Yeah, so my Instagram is the main place you'll see me promote anything that I'm doing as far as Broadway Up Close or any shows that I'm in, anything Friends. We always have Reels and TikToks that pop up, so I'm not super active on making TikToks, but we always put them on Instagram Reels, so you'll see the Friends ones pop up there. You'll see life updates on there more than anything. So that's like the best place to see what's going on with me, what I'm up to. My website is also a little bit more of a professional version of that, where I'll update it, I don't know, maybe every 6 months or something like that. Maybe a little more frequent than that. And you can see my resume, other things I've done, clips that I've done. That's where I send anybody who I'm sending auditions to just check out my artistic history, I guess is the best way to say that.
I will say, if you guys are in New York or going to New York and you guys want to see him, please see him in Friends the Musical. I wish we could have seen that while we were there.
Yeah, we're an open-ended run. I imagine they won't close us. The office has been running for a very long time as well. So as long as I'm in it, then come and check me out in it, you know?
So all of his information is rolling at the bottom of the screen. We'll leave that on until we end. It's going across right there. Brett, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
It's been an honor. We learned a lot about theater. We learned a lot about you. And it's funny is because, okay, so what happened that day, and I don't have the video, is Chrissy put on her Instagram, not James, asking every man and every person that he sees in New York to be on our podcast. I asked like 12 to 13 different people.
So we finally got one.
Would you like to come on our show?
The
Yes.
Stardust Diner people were kind of on our podcast because
Yeah.
Okay.
they performed and they dropped a comment. I forget his name. The guy that was our waiter.
We will be having some people from Ellen Stardust on the show. Did you ever work at Ellen's, or do you want to work at Ellen's?
No, I thought about it at one point. I don't love working in a restaurant. I tried it briefly at the American Girl Cafe as a host. I don't love restaurant work. It's not really for me. So I'll stay with Broadway Up Close
That
as long
place
as I
was
need
so
that survival
cool.
job.
I was
It is
like-
very cool though. Yeah.
First, I was skeptical. I was like, yo, it is hot. I am hangry. And we've been out here for like 30 minutes. And James was like, it's going to move. It's going to move. And then we got in and I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. I also just thought I would be remiss if I didn't mention occasionally, and it's kind of where I made my New York debut. I have projects with Official Sidekick Productions, which you can find on YouTube. It's fine. Official Sidekick Productions. Find it on YouTube. Find Birds and Bats, a parody musical. It was a Batman musical that I orchestrated and choreographed and played Jason Todd in. That's where I made my New York debut off Broadway, and we threw a bunch of stuff out there during the pandemic and right before the pandemic, and now we've got stuff in the works. Kind of Star Kid-esque, but not quite as much with that much of a following yet. So at some point you'll see some more stuff coming out of there as well. And you can find that on my website as well. So it's all through there. There it is.
Well, Brett, thank you so much for coming on. It's been an honor. Any last things you want to say, Chrissy?
Thank you for coming. It was really good to see you again. I learned a lot that day and even more here. And, good luck with everything. We hope to see you on Broadway someday. And keep having fun with the Friends thing. It seems really cool. And like James said, we hope you come back next season for his little Broadway segment that he wants to do about the theaters.
I didn't say what it was, but thank you. That's fine.
Oh, shit.
Sneak peek. Yes. Okay.
I'm so sorry. Are we gonna edit that out? Oh my god.
No, it's not gonna be edited out. But
anyway, Brett, thank you so much.
Of course.
If you are on Broadway, we'll definitely come and see you.
Yes.
But for those of you guys watching, stick around. We have literally stick around by literally the click of a button. We'll be right back. Woo! That ending though, that was funny.
Oopsies.
That was our interview with Brett. It was fun. It was a very fun interview.
I forgot about all the fangirling. You guys with your little playbills in your packets.
All the playbills. We can't wait to have him back on. So we're gonna launch a new aspect that's coming to the show next season, hopefully. So we can't wait for that.
Brett, the man that saved me from my fear of heights.
Mom said that was great. So thank you for watching. Thank you to those who stayed through. That's very, very nice of you. We're gonna run through our handles before we get into the rest of what we're gonna say, because then we're gonna end it with a tribute to Angela Lansbury. First and foremost, next week, pop the champagne. Get ready, because we with champagne. I have held on to this interview since June 28th.
That's 4 months.
It is going to be epic. It's funny. We are the best one he's done. So please come for that. It's going to be amazing. I think that's all I have to promote, and then the week after that is the McKenna Twins, and the week after that is the finale. It's our 2-hour finale. Next week's
difficult
discussion is an hour and 15 minutes. The week after that, it's an hour and 15, and the week after that, it's 2 hours. So, and the McKenna Twins episode will be pre-recorded because we are interviewing our holiday bonus episode guest on November 3rd. Chrissy still does not know who it is, and she has a package from me that will reveal all of it on the 3rd. So we can't wait for that to be filmed. And
I didn't realize
Anyway,
that's what the package had to deal with. I thought it was.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have this package right here. I thought I was opening it tonight for some reason. I don't know.
nope.
I will
You
just
still have it
continue
in
to
the
leave
list.
this here under my desk. Hopefully, Chloe won't destroy it.
We're gonna run through our handles, but so for right now, we're gonna start with Brett. So you guys want to check out Brett? Go to his Instagram at Brett M. Miller. Check out his website, brettmmiller.com.
Friends the
If
Musical
you are
Parody.
if you are in New York, check out the Friends the Musical, the friendsoffbroadway.com, where you can get tickets. If you want to get a tour of Broadway like we did, Broadway Up Close has all your action. But most importantly, follow Brett. We're gonna run across the screen for a couple of seconds. Chrissy, do you want to go ahead and drop yours?
My Instagram is at CRossMac. Oh my god, not me forgetting my Instagram. CRossMac_4. My dog's Instagram is at Kahlua_pup410.
If you guys want to follow me, it is at J Hanton. I haven't been posting a lot on there. The last thing I posted was for when Hocus Pocus 2 came out.
I know, I haven't done that much lately either.
And just because he's not here, but we're gonna do it anyway. If you guys want to if you guys want to follow Kevin, go ahead and check him out at K95 because he is one of our stars. They love him.
Kevin
Follow
was at the
our
casino today.
Instagram at CJ on Edited. It is going to be fun. It is going to be amazing what we post on there. And who knows? There could be a giveaway coming. Maybe. But what I'm supposed to be giving away got lost in the mail. So, what I'm supposed to be giving away, I don't have it. My entire package that I was supposed to get got lost in the mail.
Oh no.
That is stuff for me and you both in it. So we'll talk part of the show. Guys, our next show is October 27th, the day before Brent Champagne's birthday. So come celebrate his birthday with us a day early. And we talk Big Brother, his life, and we play some games. Woo! Anyway.
Brent Champagne. Fly with the champagne.
2 weeks ago, the lovely and talented Angela Lansbury passed away. Being a theater member in the community, I loved Angela Lansbury and seeing her in productions on theater and on Broadway. For those of you guys who watch Murder, She Wrote, she was Jessica Fletcher. And for those, she was the lovely Mrs. Potts. She came from us too soon, but we honor her. Until next week, be young, be inspired, drink, and remember to live your life 100% unedited. Good night.
Alan Menken first sent me the demo tape of Alan singing the title song, Beauty and the Beast. I thought to myself, my goodness, can I ever do this beautiful lyric justice? But when Disney showed me the drawings for the snuggly, beaming little Mrs. Potts, I said to myself, I knew this kind of little Cockney lady when I was growing up in London. And from that memory is exactly where I found her voice. Tale as old as time, true as it can be. Barely even friends, then somebody bends unexpectedly. Just a little change, small to say the least, both a little scared, neither one prepared. Beauty and the Beast, ever just the same, ever a surprise, ever as before, ever just as sure as the sun will rise. As old as time, tune as old as song, bittersweet and strange, finding you can change, learning you are wrong, certain as the sun, rising in the east. Tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme, Beauty and the Beast. Tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme, Beauty and the Beast. Into the cupboard with you, Chip. It's past your bedtime. Good night, love.